Yeah.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. I want to take some time to show you how Canada, if you haven't noticed already, is going to hell in a handbasket faster than you can say Rudolph's red pecker. Now, an election is on its way. It's coming. Many people have said, oh, maybe spring. I think they're pushing for it because Mark Carney is looking for a majority. I'm going to show you how and why I know that this election is probably coming sooner than later. We're going to bring the receipts. But first, if you needed a reason to be any more angry today, after yesterday's amazing news that Alberta is getting its referendum vote, it's for reasons like this. This country is so woke and so broken. This happened at the Blue Jays game while everybody's talking about yay sports teams. Before we get into why Mark Carney will get a majority government if we go to the polls now, they've changed our national anthem again. They always want more, he says. Keep in mind, in British Columbia, homeowners have had their houses ripped up from them after years of paying property taxes, paying down their mortgage, being told, hey, you don't own that property anymore. Look at this woke idiot. Canadian singer changes the lyrics of the national anthem at World Series Game 3. If you needed a reason to be angry today, and I don't usually like doing this stuff, but this is why we need to get the hell out of Canada. Look at this nonsense.
Oh, Canada, our home, our native land.
Wait, did you hear that? Right there on screen. Our home on native land. Stop it. Stop it. This person, this man here, if you can call him that, should be jailed, locked up for treason, put him in a jail cell, get him out of here, as Trump says, ship him off to Gitmo, take away his Starbucks, take away his career, take away everything. You don't disrespect my country. This is why I don't want to be a part of Canada anymore, and I want Alberta to be its own separate republic, its own separate country, because we actually have pride in where we've come from. I pay taxes, I pay a mortgage, I own the land I sit on. It's not my fault that hundreds of years ago, people were conquered. And by the way, the people who are owning that land and say that they own that land, they were conquered and were at war with all their other tribes before others came along and conquered them. It makes me sick to my stomach. But let's get into the real problem that's going on. When you look at the ad campaign that's come out with the Ronald Reagan Foundation, Doug Ford has more than quadrupled down on the nonsense that he is going to push and continue to push. But this country is in deep, deep trouble, folks. Ontario, as you just saw at the Blue Jays game, and not the people of Ontario, but their governments. The federal government, the provincial government are destroying this country on purpose to use Donald Trump as a wedge issue to guarantee a liberal majority government. Here's Pierre Poilievre. Catches Carney in a massive manipulation campaign. Carney approved the Doug Ford ad. Then he blamed his lack of a deal on the ad that he approved. Take a listen.
What you think of how that was handled, whether or not that ad should have been pulled faster?
It's a good question for Mr. Carney. Mark Carney approved the ad, and then he claimed, after the ad started running, that the ad was the reason why no deal happened. So it's time for Mark Carney to come clean. He claims he was on the verge, once again, claims that he was on the verge of getting a deal. Then he approved the ad, and then he blamed the ad for the fact that there is no deal. So the reality is that premiers are stepping up to fill the void left behind by Mark Carney's broken promise. He said he would negotiate a win. He said he would have a deal by July 21st. Still no deal, still no win, still no elbows, still no jobs.
Now, this is all theater, folks. This is all the used car salesman getting ready to pitch you another federal election. Please put me in power. People have been forwarding me, and I haven't done a video on it yet, how Carney's scandals are now going to go under investigation at the House of Commons. Yay, aren't we all happy about that? Isn't everybody doing backflips and excited? Mark Carney's finally under investigation. I hate to break it to everybody, but David over at Moose on the Loose has been running his chart for the last couple of months showing every single connection and conflict of interest, working tirelessly to show publicly how Mark Carney has been screwing this country over with managed decline. And politicians have been using it to say, oh, this scores us brownie points. We'll talk about how great David's doing of a job. And then we'll launch another investigation that costs millions of dollars to run committees that do nothing, that get us nowhere. This is why I'm fed up with how Canada runs. And this isn't about pro-separation. It's not about anything more than saying, look, over the last 10 years, the federal government has convinced me that our politicians definitely do not work for us. They have no interest in us. It is not about us. It's about them, their benefits, their pockets, and what they get. It would take a miracle at this point, or a complete 180 of government, of somebody to come in like a Trump figure and completely upheave everything that's been done with this federal government to reinstate people's confidence within the federal electoral system. That's my problem. That's why I want out. No politician has our special interest at heart, because they're all going to investigate Mark Carney, ladies and gentlemen, just like SDTC, just like the Agacon, just like the We Charity scandal, just like Dalian. And guess what, folks? Nothing will come from it except another election. And then Donald Trump is going to be used to drive that wedge. Further proof, you have Doug Ford, who not only admitted he was right with Carney when he approved the ad, that Carney went through the ad with him before it was put out, but now he's not only saying he's going to keep that ad up or he's going to keep pushing ads. We don't love President Trump. I'll tell you that, he says. Immediately after insulting the president of the United States, Premier Ford says Trump should start being nice, play nice in the sandbox to his biggest customer and in the entire world, and everybody's hunky-dory. Great strategy, Doug. Here's the problem. You keep poking this bear with a stick, hoping that it's going to do something. All you're doing is driving the country further into the seventh sphere of hell. You would think with all the jobs bleeding out of Ontario, you would think with the inflation, the profits that your local grocery stores are now posting in their surpluses, the way that this world has been running, they'd be a little more humbled to say, look, we need to figure this out. We need to find a deal that's best for our people. Now let's go to war with them. Let's keep pushing them. Let's keep pushing. Let's see how bad it gets. Why? Because Doug's a liberal. Aren't you, Doug? And they want a Mark Carney majority government. Listen to this idiot.
I'll tell you, we don't love President Trump. I'll tell you that. And I think he was in the poll I saw on CNN is minus 60. I don't know, minus 60. I don't know how much lower you can get than minus 60. So why doesn't the president start being nice? Play nice in the sandbox to his biggest customer in the entire world, and everything's hunky-dory. So
this pisses me off to no extent, because I do not think poorly of Americans. I know the majority of people who watch this channel stand in unison, honoring Americans. We respect Americans. They're our neighbors. They're our brothers and sisters. They've defended us every time we've called upon them. They've spilled their blood alongside our soldiers to defend our freedoms. This is how we treat them. Government EXE has the right response. We booed their anthem. We boycotted their companies. We pulled their liquor off our shelves. We canceled our trips to their country. We said we'd fight them with our elbows up. We made things so much worse for ourselves, and now we will pay the price. What's funny about that statement is we didn't do anything. Toronto and Montreal booed their national anthem. Toronto and Montreal boycotted their companies. Toronto and Montreal pulled their liquor off the shelves. Toronto and Montreal canceled their trips to the country and told everybody, you're wrong if you go there. Elbows up, Team Canada, ladies and gentlemen. They also said they'd fight them with their elbows up. And now everything is about to get worse for this entire country. What's funny on Doug is that David Eby has come out saying, "No, we're not going to sit back and take that either." This is how you know the election is coming. It's all ramping up to point at Trump. Not satisfied with Doug having all the glory by pulling the grenade pin in Canada-U.S. relations, Premier BC David Eby says he will use tax money, so taxpayer money, to make similar ads in the United States. What could possibly go wrong? Of course, he says Americans need to hear how tariffs raise prices. We're making ads to defend British Columbia and Canada's forestry workers. Our wood faces higher U.S. tariffs than Russia. Absurd. Truth will win. Oh, yes. Wonderful. Keep poking that bear with the stick. You now have the Bank of Canada coming out. Tiff Macklem's coming out just admitting Canada's economy is permanently damaged. He then sits there saying inflation is strongly contained. Mark Nixon says it right here. He can't control Mark Carney. He can't control Liberals' insanity. Just wait till the budget drops. Now that's coming November 4th. Listen to what he says here.
Today, the bank lowered the policy interest rate a further 25 basis points, bringing it to 2.25%. This was our second straight cut and reflects ongoing weakness in the economy and contained inflationary pressures.
All of that, now I don't even have to play a 5-minute speech. All of that is a result of bad policy, bad voting, the elbows up crowd, the idiots and the morons in that high per capita area that voted with their elbows up for Mark Carney. And they'll continue to so long as Donald Trump is used as a wedge piece. I have no problems with Donald Trump. In fact, you'll know I promote him quite a bit on this channel. I think he's made America great again, ladies and gentlemen. He's wonderful. But when it comes to Trump, they don't like him very much. I know people say, hey, I thought you left that for your live streams. I don't mind inserting it once in a while where necessary. This is Mark Carney's answer. Canadian PM Mark Carney proposes hiking up taxes on air travel to restrict people from flying. We should be taking into account the impact of our flying on the planet. You push up the tax on flying, you push up the cost on transport, and that's in part what putting a price on carbon is. If you want to go somewhere, you get to pay a premium. And the only people who can afford to go anywhere are these elite bastards right here, who jet set around the world, who eat caviar, sip champagne, all while telling you to suck it. Spend, 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 spend. It's like kids with daddy's credit card coming home and saying, Dad, you know what? I was so embarrassed today because I went to swipe my credit card at the restaurant when I was out enjoying meals with my friends, paying for everyone's tab, and it declined because my limit was surpassed. You need to hold back. You need to cut back your spending, Dad, and you need to get an increase on my limit so that I can go out and show my friends a good time. How dare you embarrass me like this? The only difference here, folks, Alberta is Mark Carney's dad with the credit card. And we've been told, the rest of this country has been told to cut back when we've already cut back too much and give them an increase in spending. Here's where Mark Carney will get his majority government. This was done by Nanos on October 24th, preferred prime minister polling. Carney's at 49%. Pierre's only at 27%. If they call a fall election, he ain't getting that extra 30%. He's not. And you need a majority government in order to get anything done when they go into the House of Commons. Davies is sitting at 5%, Blanchette 4%, May, of course, 2%, Bernier 1%. So those who jump on the PPC, it's not going to happen. You've also already got the media spinning out propaganda as Trump overseas alongside Mark Carney over in Asia. Ryan Garrettson, who celebrated his 50th birthday recently, by the way. Shout out to Ryan Garrettson, great account. He says, this is propaganda. They were raising a glass in the picture because someone was giving a toast. They all but ignored each other. And the article goes on from Robert Fife saying, Trump Carney appear to exchange pleasantries at APEC summit dinner. No, Trump has had it with Canada, rightfully so. Canada needs to answer. And not the people, the politicians, the government, the lousy representation. They need to answer for the piss poor management of this country. They should all be tarred and feathered, however you want to put it, for what they've done after 10 years of radically changing Canadians' views on politics. With scandals, with theft, with overreach, Scandal after scandal after scandal. And now they're going to use propaganda and your tax dollars to put Liberals in power for another 4 years. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Don't forget to join me live tonight for a special live stream, but usually every Wednesday and Friday here on the channel. Tonight's stream is replacing Friday because, of course, Friday's Halloween. I'll be out with my children. So join us tonight. The beautiful Mrs. Fringe will be here at minimum as we talk about everything that happened this week in politics, everything coming up in the week ahead, as well as your Q&A within the greatest YouTube community on the platform. I always look forward to chatting with you guys outside of making these live streams. I most importantly look forward to chatting with you this week, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, usually every Wednesday and Friday here on the channel. I realize I just said chatting with you outside of the live streams. I'm so raveled. I can't. I forgot to say outside of making these videos. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, leave a comment and a like down below. Hit the subscribe button. With that, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.